Hi folks, and welcome to the New Jedi Order. Oh man, already one book in, one big character dead. But it's just beginning now. The next thing you should read, chronologically speaking, is we got to go to the comic books. That's right. Didn't think I'd be going to the comic books so fast, did you? Now this comic book is simply called Chewbacca. Oh, and you know what it's about. It's written by Darko Macon, and basically it's a memorial. It's 4 issues that was supposed to be a memorial to the life and times of Chewbacca. You see, the story starts off with R2-D2 and C-3PO, and they're going around and they're interviewing the kids and Leia and Luke and Lando and Wedge and everyone about, you know, what stories they remember about Chewbacca, because his funeral doesn't take place till later on in the books, but so they're just gathering the information for right now, you know, of stories they can share. Overall, when I first saw this came out like the very next year. Vector Prime came out at the end of the year, and then January of 2000 out comes Chewbacca, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, I knew exactly what it was, and so I got the first issue. And the first issue is one of my favorites because they go to Kashyyyk and they talk to Mala, you know, and his dad Itchy. You know, we haven't seen ties to the Christmas special before, but Ishnakuk is telling him of a story about his younger Chewbacca and how he could stand up to anything and defeat anything, told great tales. It's a dad who's proud of his son. And I remember that one of the lines in it was, how can a moon be any match for my son? Like, to him, Chewbacca was super Wookiee or something. Nothing could touch him. The man was invincible. His son was invincible. His son was a conqueror. And I believe he has his hand on 3PO's shoulder or someone's shoulder when he's you know, it's being translated. But how can a moon be a match for my son? Like, yeah, he still can't believe his son is dead. Very touching stuff. Absolutely loved it. I believe, and if I get these issues mixed up, I know 1,000 people will call me out in the comments, but I believe the next one's on Wedge. I can't remember. Anyway, one's on Wedge, and it's just like a funny story. You know, it closes the cockpit. Chewie was still working on the ship, and then he kind of drags Chewie around, and Chewie's kind of grabbing on for dear life. Funny story there. But another good one is the last one. The last one, of course, they go to Han Solo, and of course, Han is working on the Falcon as he always does. He's like, Chewie, where's that wrench? He's calling out for Chewbacca. It's not there, and kind of sad. So R2-D2 and C-3PO go in there. They want to hear a story. He tells them a story of, I think, how Chewie saving the kids and how the kids drew a picture of him, and but it also recounts the tale, image-wise, of Vector Prime, of Chewbacca saving Anakin's life, Han, you know, trying to reach for him, can't get him, Chewie's body being flung across, Chewbacca growling at the moon. There's a great scene of Han Solo holding his hand over his face, and you're seeing tears fall down. He's in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. I mean, just beautiful imagery about how everything went down. You can really feel the sadness. And although I'm not much for them recounting what happened in books, that needed to be shown. It really needed to be shown to hit home. And I'm so happy that they did that. I thought that was really powerful. And so he's looking at this, he saved his kid's drawing, like a lot of parents do, of Chewbacca. And the one thing he never told Chewie, and he should have told him, was that he loved him. And it's touching. And then they leave him alone in the Millennium Falcon, just looking at the picture and thinking of his best friend, his friend he's lost. So overall, this 4-issue series, which is not much, is pretty good. Not the best. Thought it could have been a little bit better, but some of the stories were kind of like, okay. And I mean, the Wedge story was fun. It was a fun story. Of course, you have to have stories where you laugh. Not everything has to be sentimental, but the sentimental ones where they go to his home planet, where they visit Han, that's at the 1st and 4th issue. Good stuff, folks. Great stuff. Don't know how easy it is to get Chewbacca, the comic book, but if you can find it, for a trade paperback or whatever, pick it up. Pick it up. It's a really good, really enjoyable series, and there are some excellent moments. Now, I will tell you this. Originally, Dark Horse Comics was supposed to be way more involved with New Jail Order than it ended up being. In fact, Randy Stradley had this idea that they were going to do one book, I thought, and then that he was going to have a bunch of comic books explaining the New Jail Order. And he had a big series and stuff. Well, when he found out the plan was moving away from the comic books and they wanted the books to carry all this storyline, Randy Stradley still had the offer to do comic books, just side storylines. And he said no. And he got his feelings hurt, walked away, and he did Chewbacca, but after that he really didn't do anything till, well, way later. But he refused to do any other things. He went to different eras. I thought that was a big mistake by Dark Horse. Big mistake, because there are tons of small characters who you could talk about being impacted by the New Jail Order. Now, they did talk about a few of them later on, but I think it was a grand missed opportunity here by Dark Horse. They should have been involved with an ongoing New Jail Order comic book. That it didn't have to have the big stars. It would have been a super hit to hear about these other characters and everything from the expanded universe, but sadly, Randy Stradley did not want to do that. If he didn't get to tell some of the big story, he didn't want to tell any of it. And I don't know, for me, I think it would have been awesome. And I think everyone, including myself, would have bought it. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now, but I'll see you next time with another video.